Okay. Hello and good morning or afternoon to those of you who are joining on an East Coast time zone or another time zone. As you hop on, please say hello so that I know you're here. I think I see Joy and a couple other people hopping on. I am so excited to be here with you at this new time weekly. Every Wednesday, I'm going to be here live inside of High Performers Club, coaching you on something that will make a difference for you right away. So let's just jump right in. Today's title is The Road to Hell is Paved with Good Intentions. Now listen, I know that sounds extreme. This is not about heaven and hell. We're metaphorically speaking, but the point of today's live is to have you walk away from this live training with a better awareness and inspiration to change how you hold yourself accountable to the promises that you make. The promises that you make to yourself, to your family, to your God, to your goals, and to your word. Okay, so first of all, I just want to welcome those of you who are new members. And just really quickly, I'm Jessica Perez-Beebe. I typically work with driven, successful women and men like you who hit most of your goals, but maybe you're at a point where you want to think bigger, right? You to the outside world, you look like you're operating at a 10, right? Because you're typically, like myself, the most driven and ambitious in your circle. But on the inside, you know that you're really at a 7 or an 8 for you. And you need someone to motivate you. You need someone to have you think bigger, set bigger, more audacious 10x goals, right? Because you know you can be better. You just maybe don't know how to get there yet, or you're at a plateau, right? And so you need that bigger thinking person to hold you accountable and take you to that pro mindset is what I call it. And that's who I typically work with. That's where I come in. So I'm extremely knowledgeable and experienced on the topic of accountability and promises and how you can hold yourself to it and what it takes to succeed. And this is one of the most critical aspects of whether you succeed or not in 2020 and onward in your professional and in your personal life. So let's jump right in. If you have comments, if you're feeling this, interact with me. If you have questions, throw them in the comment section, or else I'm just gonna keep on rolling. Okay, so like I said, we are metaphorically talking about the hell that you actually create for yourself by not being accountable to yourself, by not being accountable to your family, your friends, your God, your goals, again, your word. And I'm going to break this down for you. So recently I was reading this online article about breaking promises and what it actually does to us on the inside. So never mind what it does to perhaps the person you're breaking your promise to. And we're going to talk about that because that's extremely important. But what about what it does to you on the inside? Okay, so when you break promises, you got excited, you've got all these good intentions. That's hence the title, The Road to Hell is Paved with Good Intentions. And we're going to talk about, well, good intentions, they matter, but only so far as you are able to actually follow through on those. Okay, so you have good intentions, you're all excited, and you're making promises to people in your life, you're making promises to your peers, your colleagues, your family members, right? Well, what happens when you actually break those promises, right? Yes, you hurt others. It diminishes their trust in you, and it ultimately ruins your reputation. But what happens on the inside is it actually erodes your self-esteem. And when you are eroding your self-esteem, you are most likely to continue to repeat these habits that are actually causing the erosion of your self-esteem, right? So we already know that breaking promises has a disastrous effect, right? It's disappointing the people that we've promised, right? And brain research is one of my favorite topics is to study the science of the brain. Brain research is showing that breaking promises registers in our brain activity. It shows up as an emotional conflict for the person who broke the promise, right? So listen to that again. Brain research is showing, and this should really move you. Brain research is showing that in your brain activity, when you break a promise, your brain is registering this as an emotional conflict because it's happening as a result of suppressing your honesty. Okay? That is huge, right? So there's all this evidence out there of like what you're doing. It's not just like, you don't just brush this off, right? This is actually creating results. It's imprinting in your brain. It's imprinting in your brain and creating more trauma that you don't need to create. So of course we can't always keep our word exactly as promised, right? Things will change, and plans have to change, right? But do it in a way that still honors your word. Trust erodes when promises are not kept. And then on top of that, if there's no communication explaining or clarifying, right, that just makes it worse. There's an implicit responsibility. You have a responsibility. I have a responsibility to follow up with anyone we've broken our word to. You guys have had somebody break their word to you, right? How does it feel? It doesn't feel great, right? I'm going through this right now. We go through it personally. We go through it in our professional lives. And what happens ultimately is once a promise is broken, and if you continue to be someone who breaks your promise, breaks your commitment to others and to yourself, because all of this applies not only to others that you're breaking your promise to, right? Which becomes your reputation. And so then people don't expect much from you, right? But if you're doing this with people, you're doing this with yourself, you're doing this with your personal goals, you're doing this with your professional goals. If you can't honor your word to others, you can't honor your word to yourself. So if you're breaking promises, is this landing with you guys? Let me know. If you're breaking promises to others, and you know if you are, then guess what? That means you already have been doing the same behavior to yourself. And what happens is when you do start breaking promises to other people, they stop trusting you and the details no longer matter, right? Once that person starts to feel unimportant, right, the relationship starts to lose its value. And the why you broke your promise no longer matters. It doesn't matter, right? And we've all done it. We've all done it. I'll say specifically, like, think about in your family. It's typically the people you're closest to that you'll break promises to, right? So making a promise to someone is the most powerful form of communication, right? But how many times do you make vows that you can't keep, right? Big and small. We make them every day, and we typically break more of them than we keep. And that is causing brain damage. That's causing emotional damage. That's eroding your self-esteem. That's ruining your reputation. That's holding you back. That's keeping you small. Accountability is critical for achieving winning results, for being a high performer, for hitting your goals, right? So what's the solution? What's the solution? It's accountability. You've got to be accountable in all areas of your life. This is why personal responsibility means so much to me. Those of you who are watching live, throw a comment in here. Has someone recently broken their promise to you? Or have you actually broken your promise to someone else? Have you broken your promise to a goal that you've committed to, right? Are you a part of a community where perhaps you all agreed upon something and you're making excuses for why you're not actually holding up your side of the bargain? That is hurting them and that is hurting you. So how do you be accountable, right? You take responsibility. And here's the great thing about accountability. It's not just a mindset. Eventually it becomes a mindset, and it's the way that you live, and it will eat you up inside if you don't act in this way. But it's also a skill set that you can learn, right? It's not maybe as easy as 1, 2, 3, but you can learn it. So number one, you've got to take responsibility. Responsibility is not really something you do. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of thinking, and it's a way of being. When you are responsible, you believe that success or failure is up to you, right? Even if you work with a team, even if you have a coach, even if you're blindsided by outside circumstances, right? You own your commitment to a result before the act, before you even take action. You own responsibility for it. You don't put it on others. You don't put it on your family members. You don't put it on your coaches. You don't put it on your business partners, the people that you hire, your fitness trainer, none of that. And so responsibility is so important to being accountable. And if you're being responsible for your own success, you're also going to be responsible for the success of you keeping your promise or not. How does it feel when you break your promises? I see some of you sharing that, right? I used to break my promises, to my wife and to myself, Isidro says, right? And so now there's this trust that has to be regained. Guess what? We can't take that lightly. I believe that we all have within us the capacity to change. And it starts here. It starts inside our heart. It starts with our relationship with God. It starts with our relationship with our spiritual self, right? We have to remember that we are on this earth as spiritual beings having a human experience, right? So there is a power within you that you can tap into that will give you the strength to create these changes in your life, to become more responsible, to become more accountable, right? So be responsible either way. It's easy to claim responsibility when things are going great, right? When it's hard, it's not. But a truly responsible person, however, will always accept responsibility. I do this with my daughter. This is one of the things that I can think of that I've been actively working on, not breaking my promise, right? My promise is I won't lose my temper. I won't, it's more of so like losing my patience, right? When I lose my patience with my daughter, I feel like that erodes like her experience, right? Because I'm a person, you can see my energy. It's like, yeah, let's go. I'm going to get this done. Let's be efficient, right? Kids don't work like that, right? So when I do break that promise to her, and it happens, I am human, I am flawed, I sin. We all do, right? When I do break that promise to her, I always take accountability. I never, ever want my daughter to feel like something that I've done or a way that I've reacted is her fault. Ever. I grew up feeling that way. A lot of us did, right? It was rare that our parents would apologize. It was like we triggered them. We did something wrong, right? And so I never do that with her. I always take responsibility. I do that in all of my relationships. That is so important because then you have your power. You don't have to be ashamed of being, making mistakes. Right? It's the responsibility for all of that where your power is. So next time you take on something, next time you take on a project at work, next time you become part of a team, next time you hire a coach or a trainer, or sign up for a program or a course, just go in ahead of time being 100% responsible. I've had people ask me before, but I don't know. How do I know if it's going to work? You know it's going to work if you know that you're going to work. If you don't trust yourself, then you don't trust any program or any coach or anything to work for you because it's inside, you're not taking responsibility, right? So take 100% going into whatever you do next, good or bad, no wiggle room. I'm telling you, this will make you feel so good. Recognize your power. Right? So be responsible either way. Recognize your power. You have the ability to keep your promises to yourself. Yes, Sandra says, I'm going to stop breaking promises to myself. Why? You got to get connected with why you're going to stop doing that. We talked about not only does it erode your self-esteem, but it creates a pattern of continuing to set the bar here, right? You've got to be honest with yourself. There's no success, there's no power, there's no leadership, there's no greatness in this world without 100% personal responsibility and honesty, right? It's a conscious choice. It's a conscious choice every single moment. And then finally, deal with what is, right? Think about it. When was the last time you were able to change the past? You guys, let me know. Have you been able to change the past? Because I haven't. So it doesn't matter what should have happened or what you could have done or would have done or should have done, right? It matters what is, and how do you go forward from there, from that point forward, right? How do I want to react to the situation now that it is where it is because of the choices I made or did not make, the promises I kept or did not keep? So I really want this to land with you guys that in 2020, you get to take full ownership. Learn how to say no if you have to say no. A lot of you are in this pattern of breaking promises because you don't set boundaries, right? You want to be liked. You're afraid to upset people. You want to pretend that you're more than you are or that you can do more than you can do. And who's that hurting? You and the other people, right? So learn how to set boundaries. Be really conscious when you're making a commitment. And remember, your word is your reputation. Your word is your reputation. You teach people how to feel about you. You teach people whether or not to trust you, whether or not they can count on you, whether or not they can depend on you. And so for many of you in here in this group, you're entrepreneurs, you're service-based, you're leaders, you're coaches. Listen, if you don't get this part down, being responsible and honoring your word, you're going to have very little success in that kind of field. It's just the truth, right? So here's what I want to say to you guys. I have a sweet, amazing offer, and all you got to do is either in the comments type, you're going to type pocket coaching, or you can send me a private message. Just click on my name and it'll say send message, and you can just type pocket coaching. I'm going to type it right here. So here's what I want to tell you. Last year, I offered something to some clients and some people who purchased a program through me. And one of the awesome things that they're getting is pocket coaching, where I literally record. If some of you are on here who get pocket coaching, share in the comments if this has been valuable for you. And I know it has. It's the reason I'm going to offer it now for $17 to those of you who want it. So here's what it is. I decided that, listen, it's so easy to just give somebody a PDF to download or do this online course or whatever. But most of you, be honest, you're not going to do it. You don't have the time. You come up with a reason not to. It's another promise or commitment to yourself that you're breaking. But how would it impact your life and your day and your week if once a week you're getting a live, fresh, in the moment pocket coaching from me that I've really thought out, and where when I'm sending you these 5 minutes or less audios, I am sometimes giving you quick actions to take or exercises to do that are like really short, quick, and to the point that will actually hold you accountable. They'll actually hold you accountable and actually get you a result, right? So what's really cool about this is the reason I thought to offer it is I'm getting so many responses about how helpful these pocket coachings are more than anything. And so what's really great is you're able to direct message me after you get them. I send them by text or email or both, however you want it. And you can reply. You can ask me questions and have me answer you directly. So it's like you're literally getting coaching from me for $17 a month, and you're getting 4 specifically right into your phone or right into your email. It's just an audio. You play it, you can listen to it. I had someone message me 2 days ago, and she said, Jessica, I listen to your pocket coachings like on replay while I'm on the treadmill, which is awesome because that's kind of how I listen to stuff like that. So if you would like to get this, I'm only going to be offering it for a limited time. And it's a way for if you're new to my group, or if you've been thinking about coaching with me, but you're not ready to invest yet, or you're not ready to go all in, this is a great way for you to have some coaching, to have some support, and to really get a taste of what it's like to have someone like myself, a high performer, a high thinker, someone who can really call you up and keep you accountable to thinking bigger. it'll give you a taste of what that's like. And I can guarantee you're going to get great results right away. And just for 17 bucks a month. So break that down. It's like what, less than $5 a week for these coachings. So just message me, private message, just say, I want pocket coaching or pocket coaching. Type it here in the comments and I'll respond and ask you how you want me to send that to you. It's not a contract or anything like that. You can stop at any point. It's really my give to you. So you'll get the ones that we did in December and January, and you'll continue to get the fresh ones every week. So if you want that, I'm super excited to offer it to you. And hey, I will see you on Wednesday again, right here in High Performers Club. Those of you who are on Instagram, you can follow me there at Jessica Perez-Beebe. I share a lot more of my personal life there. So if you're into fitness and things like that, I share a lot of what I'm doing as a pro athlete and just lots of inspiration. So you can follow me there. And you'll also see me going live on my business page as well. So make sure you're getting notifications everywhere. And hey, listen, I just am so honored to be here with you and to have you guys tuning in and allowing me to influence your mind. Super important who you allow to influence your mind this year. It will make the difference in where you go, how you experience the pursuit of your goals, whether you're joyful in the process, whether you're stressed in the process, or whether you're in flow. Really important, the company that you keep. So I'm glad that you're here and keeping company with us. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next week. Please share in the comments anything that's on your heart, and I can't wait to see you next week. Bye.